All right, let's just jump right in. We're about to pull back the curtain on a psychological blueprint that's, about 100 years old, but it secretly shapes so much of your daily life. Think of it like an invisible thread connecting a psychologist lab from the 1920s directly to the smartphone that's probably in your hand right now.
And to kick things off, let's start with a feeling I'm pretty sure almost all of us know very, very well these days.
You know that feeling, right? That little suspicion that the apps on your phone aren't just passive tools waiting for you. It feels like they're actively doing something to you, trying to get you to scroll a little longer, click one more time, and just keep coming back.
Well, guess what? You're not imagining it. That feeling is absolutely real. Things like the infinite scroll that never ends, those little push notifications that buzz in your pocket, the reward loops that keep you hooked, none of that is an accident. It's all part of a very deliberate design philosophy engineered to grab your attention and build habits. But what's really wild is that the instruction manual for this kind of design, it wasn't written in Silicon Valley. It goes way, way back to a radical idea that completely changed how we saw the human mind.
So if you really want to get why your phone is so hard to put down, we have to take a little trip. We're going to wind the clock back about 100 years to look at this incredibly powerful idea, a blueprint really, called behaviorism.
So what is behaviorism? At its heart, it made this super bold, kind of ruthless claim. If you can't see it, if you can't measure it, then it's not real science, period. So all that stuff happening inside your head, your thoughts, your feelings, your hopes, your dreams, all of that was dismissed. It was just unscientific noise. The only thing that mattered was what you could see on the outside, a stimulus in and a response out. And this right here is the core trade-off. Look at this. On one side, you have what matters to the behaviorist. Clicks, purchases, time on screen, stuff you can easily count. It's clean, it's measurable. But what's on the other side? Well, what gets thrown out is pretty much everything that makes us us, meaning intention, your actual lived experience. It's like they decided to trade the messy, complicated, beautiful reality of being human for a nice, clean spreadsheet.
And the guy who really championed this, the main architect of this whole blueprint, he wasn't just some academic with a different opinion. No, this guy was on a mission. He argued really aggressively that the mind itself was totally irrelevant to science.
And here he is, John B. Watson, in his own words. Just listen to this. Psychology should concern itself only with the control and prediction of behavior. The words that just jump out are control and prediction, right? This is huge. He's not saying he wants to understand people. He's saying he wants to control them. He wanted to take psychology and turn it from a science of understanding into a science of engineering human beings.
And to be clear, this wasn't some friendly debate. He wasn't just offering another perspective. He was actively trying to kick everything else out of the field. The study of consciousness, looking inward. He said it had no place in a real science. And why? Not because he thought feelings weren't real, but because they were messy. They couldn't be easily controlled and measured the way he wanted.
You know, his career path really says it all. So, in 1913, he drops his Behaviorist Manifesto, basically redefining psychology. Then, a few years later, he does this truly infamous experiment called Little Albert. He literally took a 9-month-old baby and conditioned him to be terrified of a harmless white rat. Just think about that. It's just horrifying by any modern ethical standard. So what happens next? A scandal kicks him out of the university. And where does he land? He goes straight to Madison Avenue, to a huge ad agency. The move from the lab to the ad world, it was almost too easy. And this is the moment. This is when the blueprint breaks out of the ivory tower and gets unleashed into the real world. Watson's ideas didn't just collect dust on a library shelf. Oh no, they were put to work big time.
You can just see the dominoes fall, one after another. First, you figure out how conditioning works in a lab. Step 2, you take those exact principles and use them in advertising to make people connect, say, a brand of soap with a feeling of love. Then, fast forward a few decades, and you engineer those same principles into technology to grab our attention. And what's the end result of all this? Over time, it just became normal to think of people as systems. Systems you could tweak and optimize to get whatever you wanted out of them.
And once you see it, you start seeing its fingerprints everywhere. You know, nudge theory, where policies are designed to kind of push you in a certain direction? That's it. Those productivity trackers at work that measure your clicks but have no idea you're totally burnt out? That's it too. Every single ad that tries to sell you happiness in a bottle of soda, it's all coming from the same family tree. It's a way of thinking that cares a lot about changing what you do and not so much about understanding who you are.
Okay, so why are we digging all this up?
Why does a 100-year-old story even matter? Because this isn't just history. It's a user manual for the world we're living in right now.
And here's the really tricky part. This approach, it works. It's super effective at getting people to buy stuff, to click on links, to comply. But there's a huge cost. By deciding that our inner world doesn't matter, it can become incredibly dehumanizing. A system can be working perfectly on the outside while quietly causing a lot of damage on the inside.
So knowing this history is like getting a new set of glasses. It gives you a toolkit. It lets you step back and ask the right questions like, hey, is this app actually designed to help me, or is it designed to make me comply? It gives you permission to trust your gut, to trust your own feelings, even when some system is telling you they don't count. And it helps you spot the blueprint. You know, anytime you see people being treated like numbers on a spreadsheet instead of, well, people.
Because at the end of the day, what's the real human cost of all this? It's pretty simple, actually. When you forget the mind, people get lost. Their struggles become invisible. That burnout you're feeling, well, it must be your fault, a personal failure, not the fault of a system that measures you in a broken way. That anxiety you get from your phone buzzing all day, that's on you too, right? Not the result of a system that was specifically designed without your well-being in mind.
So I want to leave you with one final question to chew on. The next time you pick up your phone, before you unlock it and start scrolling, just pause for a second, and knowing everything we've just talked about, knowing the blueprint it was built on, ask yourself, is this thing serving me, or am I serving it?